20 by 2020 is an ambitious FAR-led program aiming to achieve the highest feed wheat yields in the world. The target is 20 tonnes per hectare by the year 2020. Much of FAR's work to date has been aimed at fine-tuning existing programs, for example, maintaining yields with fewer inputs. But this project requires a massive step change. FAR Research Manager Rob Craigie explains.
We've set up this program called 20 by 2020, and it really came about because we've done quite a lot of work just kind of fine-tuning crop management. But really these days farms need to be making more money, cropping farms in particular. So that's where the idea came from, to kind of make a stretch target to really focus our research. The target we've set ourselves is 20 tonnes per hectare by 2020 for autumn sown feed wheat. Ambitious target, but we think it's also realistic. We've got the world record in New Zealand at 15.6 tonnes per hectare, and that's by Mike Solari down in Gore. Last year, in a paddock on this farm, where we kicked off the trials last year, we achieved just short of 17 tonnes per hectare, so 16.95 tonnes. So, we're not a bull's roar away, but that next 3 tonnes isn't by any means going to be easy. One of the major research planks is trying to grow more biomass. The more biomass we get, the grain component of that biomass is about 50%. So more biomass, automatically you get more grain as well. The main focus on this farm is we're seeing yield gains by bringing the planting date forward. And in other trials that we've got down at Chertsey and South Canterbury, we're seeing yield gains by bringing the planting date forward from April into March. So what we're trying to do here is to really push the boundaries. So we've got some wheat planted in February, which is really stretching things. We're definitely seeing consistent yield increases, and as I was saying, we're right up close to that 17 tonnes per hectare. So we just have to wait and see whether we're going to get a bit more yield this year, or if we just have to take what we learned from this year to apply in our trials for the coming season to try and push that boundary.
Our mainstay crops, white clover, wheat and vegetable seeds, probably be our top 3, but we have about 10 to 12 crops in our rotation. It's a silt loam, but it's a heavy Temuka silt loam, and one of our key assets here is our water holding capacity and our water table underneath us. Most years it sits around 1.5 to 2 metres, so we have a pretty good reservoir under us for feeding moisture to our crops. Obviously, dairying's the one which can get the best return off the land use, and the challenge for us is to have systems in place which, while the returns might be there's some other benefits which can work. And one of the biggest challenges we've faced in the arable sector has been cash flow, and that's why a number of arable guys have gone to dairying, is the consistency in cash flow, and that obviously allows you to run more debt. The earliest sowings we've got in these trials is about the 20th of February, and essentially that's about exactly when we're harvesting the bulk of our wheat crops. So it's a full year in the ground. The challenges is that you're trying to drill a paddock at the same time as you're trying to get your harvest in, which creates a bit of an issue logistically, just getting the work done. So while this work's experimental, the February sowing obviously throws up a lot of challenges. Originally, one of our biggest issues we thought might have been frost, because obviously it's going to be flowering slightly earlier, so getting some late frost and damaging the seed at that point. But so far that hasn't been a problem, and probably the biggest issues we've been faced is around disease control and around stopping the crop from lodging, so the crop getting too tall simply because it's been growing for so long.
Within this patch behind us, we've got 2 hectares of wakanui that was planted in February, and within that block we've got about 5 trials. So one trial is a time of sowing trial, looking at February, March and April planted wheat, just comparing them. And then we've got a range of trials looking at how you go about managing a February sown crop. So we've got plant growth regulator trials, disease management trials, and a cultivar trial as well, because we're not convinced wakanui is the appropriate cultivar, but so we're still screening other cultivars as well. So we're coming up to harvest time now. So we've got some people there taking some quadrat cuts in the time of sowing trial, and what we're doing is analysing what the difference is between a February, March and April sowing crop. How many stems are there, how many grains are there, what size are the grains, the makeup of a crop. What we've set up is a repeat of the trial that we've just seen at Leaston. It's quite a different soil type here, quite a lot lighter, and so it's good to get a contrast between different environments to see what's going on. And you can see in the crop, we haven't got the lodging that we have up on David's place, which was following 2 years of clover, which has pumped a lot of nitrogen into the system. So we're just beginning to harvest this set of trials. This is the kind of business end of the season. We'll find out what the real yields are in here. It's a Sampo plot combine, which is just used for research trials. It's got weighing gear on board, so we can know exactly what yield we're getting off each plot. We're taking samples to measure some quality characteristics, 1,000 grain weight, test weight, that kind of thing.
I think any time you set a target and it becomes a challenge, and it's not something you're going to do overnight, but we've still got 6 or 7 years to 2020, so it is exciting and it's a good challenge, yeah.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.